Welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide podcast, where we discuss your favorite marble sports. We bring you in-depth analysis of each event across many different marble sports competitions. Catch all the information and drama you want to hear about your favorite players, teams, events, and more right here on the MSW podcast.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide podcast. My name is Brendan.
And I'm Commander Wolf.
And I know today, looking at the title, you do not want this intro to take hours. We know what you guys came to hear, who you came to hear, but I do want to announce a couple of quick things. First off, if you've heard the rumors, yes, there is an MSW Algodoo League planned. It will be on the YouTube, probably starting sometime in January 2020. So if you're interested in Algodoo, we're going to be trying to push the boundaries of decoration and of event uniqueness and commentary and all that kind of stuff with what we're releasing. So go over to the YouTube. It's called MSW Podcast. Subscribe to the channel, and you'll get more updates on that. While I'm on the topic of the YouTube, we have our episode 25 special coming out in a couple of weeks. After this episode, it will take a little bit of time for us to polish up the rest of the episode, but we're going to get it out as soon as we can. And that episode will come with many animations, extra animations than we normally have in our episodes, and it'll also feature on the YouTube. Big shout out to Piney, who will be helping with those.
Yes.
But besides
so
that,
definitely
guys,
make sure. Definitely make sure to check out the YouTube version of that one if you normally listen to the SoundCloud version of the episodes.
Yeah, absolutely, because there will be some pretty funny animations. I've already seen an example of her work, and it's pretty good. So I'm really excited for this special, guys, putting all those clips together, kind of taking a walkthrough time all the way back to March something. I think it was March 29th might have been the first episode released. And I'll tell you what, we come quite a long way. And so long that we're actually going to be having the special guest in the name of the episode that you see in the title there. And we don't want to delay anymore, guys. So let's get to the news with Johnny Marble. We're going to see you on the other side and be talking with Greg Woods.
Hello, Marble Sports fans! I am Johnny Marble, here as always, undisputed till the end of time, with the Marble Sports Worldwide News. And guys, I'm happy to be here. So let's jump right into it. More Marbula 1 teams have come to light, and they include Team Galactic, Team Momo, and the Hornets. They will all be strapping up their cleats and competing in the upcoming tournament. Now this might just be Johnny Marble, but I kind of hope we see the Limers, or even the Oceanics, get put into this tournament. I think it'd be really good for both teams and Marbula 1 in general. Win-win. In other news, though, JMR has released their first Marble League-themed Marble Run set. The set is produced by Corsetti and only ships to Europe. However, JMR does have a seller in America as well. So that means you can go home, or wherever you want to do this, get out that set, and run your own simulations of Marble League. It's like fan fiction a little bit, but it's... Anyways, MSPN is soon to release M Games Event number 2 and the first installment of PMA. Now in MSW news, Flame Vapor has decided to partner with Marble Sports Worldwide to help create Season 1 of the MSW Algodoo League. Yeah, that's right. Exciting time! The MSW Podcast Episode 25 special will be coming out around Thanksgiving, so be on the lookout for that. But wait, best of all, this episode will feature the one, the only, Greg Woods, commentator for all JMR Marble Sports. Man's a legend in this business. But that's the end of my sheet. That's the end of the news. I've been Johnny Marble. You've been great. Let's kick it back to Brendan and, of course, our special guest, Greg Woods. Give him a welcome. Tell him I said hi.
Welcome, everybody, back from the news. Thank you again, Johnny Marble, for keeping us updated on the excitement going on in the marble sports community. A lot going on and a little going on all at the same time. Marbula 1 continues to do its reveals. I think we're up to 7 now, right? Hornets are the recent one. I can't believe they're going to be in it, but I'm very excited to see a fan-created team getting all the way to Marbula 1. We await some really exciting events coming up. Marbula 1, Marble League 2020 coming soon. MSPN's got a lot of stuff cooking up too. But as we wait, we want to welcome our very, 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 I could not say very enough times here, special guest, Greg Woods. Greg Woods, please say hello to all the fans out there who know and love you.
Hello, everybody who is out there in the Marble universe.
Oh,
man. Yes. It is great to hear your voice. I am still in disbelief that he is on the MSW podcast, a podcast that started with me and a headphone mic back in March of 2019. But he's here, guys. He's here in the flesh, in the voice. And we're going to give him the question we give all of our first-time guests, and that is, Greg, how did you get into marble sports?
So it isn't that much different than what you described for the start of this podcast, where it was on a very low-tech setup. And if you want to go back a little farther than that, Jelle had been making these videos for a while. I had no idea they existed. And I saw one of them that was posted to Reddit. And it was one of the kind of his old-style videos where it was just following the marbles down the hill, listening to the sounds of them kind of clinking back and forth. And I watched a few seconds of this, and I paused it because I thought, this would be kind of fun if we put a little bit of commentary to it. Like, just, give him some intention and follow him down the hill and see where it goes from there. So I froze the screen for a while, and I tried to memorize at least as many as I could, or at least, come up with some names or something. And I got my stick mic for my computer out, and I recorded it. Listening back to it now, it seemed really cringy to me because I don't think it was terribly good. But I thought, oh, what the heck, maybe somebody will get a kick out of it. And put it online, and it kind of blew up after that. So after a while, Jelle reached out to me and said, would you want to do this for all the videos coming up? And I guess the rest is history.
That's pretty crazy.
That is awesome. The best part about that story for me is that I had always imagined you being like a commentator or a radio show person, just like someone out there in the world. And then Jelle or Dion, who creates the videos, imagined the marble sports having commentary and just kind of reached out to a bunch of people, spread their net wide among good commentators to try to find someone to do it. That's how I always had imagined it. But the fact that you had been the first one to have the idea and propose it and be like, this would be funny even, or crazy. That's always the best part of that for me.
It wasn't even a proposal as much as, here you go, see if anybody finds this fun. and I think afterward I went out and worked on my car or something for a little while. I didn't come back for a couple hours. And I came back and somebody given me Reddit Gold, and it was going from there. And I thought, what the heck just happened?
Wow,
that's awesome, dude. That must have been. What was that like? What did that feel like when all of a sudden you did something for fun that you thought would be cool, and then all of a sudden you're here? It's such a huge step to go from doing something like that for fun, and then all of a sudden you're the regular commentator, the voice of that hundreds of thousands of people listen to. What does that feel like to you?
Each step has been a little bit different because each time I look at this and go, how is this even possible? Whether it was starting to do the videos regularly, coming up with the Marble Olympics, the Marble League, and then seeing that grow, branching off of just the Sand Marble Rally, and then all the other random things that he did on top of that. And then, you have the growth of the YouTube channel, and then, of course, the Ocho. Like, how did that even come to exist? It just completely blows me away that we were legitimately on the Ocho, and I have it saved on my DVR. I watched it, and I still can't really wrap my head around that. So I don't really know what it feels like, because each time I keep getting surprised, whether I hear of some people watching this in a totally different part of the world, or kids that are building their own stuff, or whatever it is. Each one just kind of makes me go, wow, that is incredible.
Yeah, and there's also the recently released Jelle's Marble Runs, like, what is it, a toy? Or
yeah, it's
a toy kit?
It's like the Marble League track set. So it's like an official product, basically.
Right, you can make your own.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I can't even believe that it's come that far. It's just it baffles me. It baffles me that this is happening. I mean, but yeah, that must be something else to be the voice of all hundreds of thousands of people listen to you and love you, idolize you even.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I mean, it's definitely interesting to hear the different reactions and stuff, especially when, I try to do it the best that I can. I try to do it in one take so that it's a genuine reaction. And sometimes, there are some things that I mislabel a marble here or there, or I miss something because I'm looking at one part of the screen. But I like to think that keeps the authenticity to it a little bit, rather than just overdubbing it or re-recording things in, or, I messed up, let's just start over.
Right. So, actually, that's a good question I had. Do you just, like, when you receive the video, do you just turn it on and just, you don't even watch the video once through, you turn it on and just start recording, or do you at least give it a watch through before you start recording?
Nope. When I get the video, sometimes there will be some directions to it that'll say, here's how we're going to do scoring, or here's how we're going to do this or this. Aside from that, that's about all I know going into it. Maybe recently they'll say, hey, put in something for the sponsor here.
Right.
Otherwise, no. And that's why sometimes you will probably hear my bewilderment in cases where it's either done in a different way, or there's a kind of a weird scoring system, because I'm kind of learning it as I'm literally reading it on the screen, and then kind of going from there. So it's a surprise.
Yeah, I like that, though, cool. Because it brings that, like you said, that authenticity, and that, like, not all the fans may notice when there's something new, and you kind of almost bring that attention to a new thing or a unique part of the event to the fans, because you're seeing it, you're commentating, you're like, oh, this scoring's different, or, oh, the blocks are a different size this year in the block pushing, or the track is different. And then it kind of brings that attention to all the viewers who kind of see what's going on. So I think it's impressive, by the way, also that you can kind of go in kind of blindly, and you have the skill to commentate pretty almost flawlessly most of the time through the events without even watching them through first, which is it's impressive skill, actually.
It's a little nerve-wracking at times, because I don't want to get 15 minutes into a video and realize that I've been saying the wrong kind of scoring or something like that. So you definitely have to do a little bit of speed reading. I've taken some notes. Sometimes I'll scribble something down, or I'll write down times as they come across so that I can reference them later. It's kind of a learn as you go.
That's so cool. We wanted to ask, how many videos do you think you've done commentary for at this point?
Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever counted. But if you take into account that the different events have usually 10 or 15 different rounds to them, I would think we've probably got to be around 50 or more. Maybe not that many. I'm not positive on that.
Wow. That's a lot, though. Yeah, you've done all 4 years of Marble Olympics, and the Sand Marble Rally, and the kind of spin-offy tournaments like the Hubelino, right?
Yep, and the Halloween races and things like that.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty crazy. So I was really curious about what is your favorite part about commenting? Like, is it like just like actually seeing the event itself, or like seeing it make a personal favorite team competing?
I think when you really start to love these events, I think at the heart of it, it's because you are a fan of the competition, and you're a fan of that idea in general. For me, I love sports, and when I say that, I really literally mean I love pretty much all kinds of sports. I follow all kinds of different ones from around the world. I'm very open with what I believe a sport is, and when I see this, it's the same sort of mentality. You've got your underdogs, you've got the fantastic performances and the ones that kind of come out of nowhere, and you've got unpredictability that ends up, becoming kind of memorialized in these fantastic achievements or these big stages. And all of that at the heart of it, that's sports. And it applies here, and it applies in other types of racing, and it applies in other events as well. So that's, I guess it's probably my favorite part of it, is that it really is. It feels like you are a part of pretty much any other kind of sport out there.
I would definitely agree. Yeah.
I'd say that your commentary is one of the reasons that marble sports feels like marble sports and not just marble racing or marble events or marble tournaments, because you bring that excitement that you just mentioned to the events, and you make everybody else that watches excited too. Because now people view a Rangers and Savage Speeders and, name some other teams that win every once in a while. Sorry. We know the big teams, Crazy Cat's Eyes or something. You make them seem like real teams that are practicing in the off season and thinking through how they're going to approach each event and strategizing what team they're going to pick. And then people, you see in the Reddit posts, big standouts are like when people got upset that, like, when Starry was not chosen for Sand Marble Rally because the last 2 years Starry performed really well, or like how Red Number 3, people write novels in the Reddit about how Red Number 3 is a marble, isn't a marble, should be competing, should not be, and it's like, it's seen as a real sport. The drama in this sport is like comparable to those kinds of sports. It's the excitement you bring, I think, that kind of makes it real for everybody else.
That is true. If you're talking about off-track stuff, one of my favorite things absolutely is the lore. It's how much gets built around this, and I can't take credit for that, because that's the people who are really diving into this, and they're creating the memes, and they're creating all of these stories, and they're going along with it. Maybe I'm giving them a starting point. But to see where they've run from there, and now you've got these posters, and they've really personified the teams, that's pretty phenomenal to see. And part of that is what Jelle and Dion have done in the videos also, painting these pictures literally for me to talk about. Otherwise, I wouldn't have anything to shout at. So I think it's fantastic.
I do gotta say, ever since I think like you started doing commentary like on the Jelle's videos, like I've seen a much different approach to all sorts of marble racing. Like there in the past, like there'd be like a bunch of kids like who would film their marble races, and they would talk about the races that went on, but they weren't really commentating on it. But ever since you did your commentary on Jelle's channel, and it was made like an official part of the videos, like channels of all kinds, like MSPN, for instance, like they started using commentary once they started making their videos, and like I feel like you set a standard for like what marble racing could be, like, and taking that immersion to the next level, like not just having a bunch of music in the background with silence, but like actually having a commentator to make it feel even more official.
I've always been curious what some of the other ones do. I haven't really watched that many other ones, but I've always wondered, what is the rest of that like? And the neat thing is, it's cool to be in that position that we are in, to be kind of the trailblazers on this, and the groundbreakers, to be saying, hey, let's come up with this stuff and see where it goes from here. And then all of a sudden we've got these layers upon layers that have built around marbles rolling down a hill, and now it's this whole thing that it's still difficult to comprehend, but it's neat to be in that role. And again, it's not just me, it's a lot of people that go into it.
Yeah. To speak to a little bit about what other channels do, I'd say the two other big names in Marble Sports, which yeah, I can't believe it, but I'd actually say that there are big names in Marble Sports as far as the content goes. You got MSPN, Marble Sports Performance Network, for those who are confused in that acronym. They kind of took a different approach to the marble tournament thing. They call there's the M Games, and it's kind of more of an extreme marble sports thing. They have a new event coming out. It's like a ram event where the marbles smash into each other, kind of like Collision but more intense. And they have commentary too, and their commentary is pretty good. Marble Fubica is the other notable channel. They've been in a little bit of a hiatus as I think they're rebuilding a studio, but they release kind of more marble videos, more that where the teams are like real countries and things like that. And well, that's what they've been doing, and so they have commentary too. They use the same guy who does MSPN, and they kind of do a different style than JMR, but they bring some good quality as well. The other aspect of marble racing that it's quite big still is Al Gadoo racing, which is marble tournaments and races created out of this physics simulator called Al Gadoo. And that simulator, like Marble Mayhem from MSPN, has used commentary on that as well. And that simulator, people have gotten super creative with that as well. But I would say definitely, as Mr. Waff said before, definitely you doing commentary and people seeing that and hearing that. And I think one of the best videos JMR had got like almost 10 million views. So definitely a lot of people saw it. Like that's been an inspirational to the way a lot of people do their marble sports today. And even the fact that we call it marble sports, right? The fact that it's not marble racing anymore. It's not marble competition. We call it marble sports now. And it's become a sport. And people accept it as a sport. At least some do, you know.
More should.
Right.
And yeah, or should. And it's just crazy how much you've inspired in other people as far as creating goes.
One thing I love to see is, and I mentioned this just a little bit, is to see, like you mentioned, the kids that are getting out there and now doing this. There were a friend of mine has heard of kids watching this in classrooms, so he will put it on during study hall, and that will be kind of their cool reward. Or there's a teacher kind of near here that apparently uses that as part of behavior plan to say, hey, if you do what you need to do, then we'll let you watch a marble video. And I mean, it's stuff like that. Or, actually meeting some of these kids and saying, oh, we built this big marble run and we want you to watch it and look at these marbles and here's their story. And it's like, wow, that may have happened eventually with somebody, but I don't know. It's hard to believe that I played a part in that sometimes.
Yeah, a major part too. Go ahead, Mr. Wolf.
I was just going to say, like it's pretty crazy. Like I think, like for all of us, like how like you became a commentator for marble sports, and like we became heads of a podcast about marbles. Like, but like for you, like how crazy is it to try and explain what you do to other people?
What's kind of neat is that a lot of people have a similar reaction where when you first tell them about it, they're kind of a little bit dismissive of, oh, yeah, sure. And then you explain a little bit of what it is, and usually you can see their interest peak a little bit. And especially if you're there when they watch the videos, there's still that skepticism at the start of it, but just like I think we all had when we first watched these marble videos, like halfway through it, you're cheering along, and you're kind of rising and falling with the action. And by the end of it, you can start to see why this is a thing. And that's been really neat to see. Yes, there are still some people that go, really? Marbles rolling down a hill? And I said, yeah, and then I yell at them, and people watch it. So, I mean, that's sometimes where it ends. But to hear like a friend of mine down in Florida, he said, yeah, the conductors on the Hogwarts Express were talking about this. And I was like, what?
Really?
That is
seriously?
Insane. No way.
That's nuts.
That's crazy.
That is nuts. Oh my, that's crazy. Yeah, people just now you can like hear it around. I mean,
Yeah.
oh, by the way, case in point, by the way, of what we were talking about, our live chat just started giving hashtag Oh Rangers and hashtag Hayes Amaze, just shouting out their favorite team, because the team has become like a story for them, like rallying behind your favorite team, just like you would rally behind your favorite football team or sports team, whatever you're into. And it is crazy how the story kind of has start to come together. I know someone from my school, and in general, some of the people in my school are into it. Some of them kind of have the reaction that you kind of said, where it's like, oh, that's kind of weird, man. That's kind of silly. What is that? I can't even believe that's a thing. But all right, so I'm gonna kind of just bring us back in with like a re-intro.
Okay.
Kinda. All right, guys, if you're listening to this, oh, wow. I have no idea how to intro this back. Dude, what the hell, dude? That was actually scary. Okay. Anyway, guys, if you're back here, for us, this was about a 10-minute jump. For you guys, it was about a half a second. But Greg accidentally got kicked out of the Discord chat. So he is back now. I am back now. If I was cut off in the middle of a sentence, I don't know what I was saying. So I'm sure we'll figure that through as we go through the rest of this episode. But something that people wanted to know in the live chat as Greg was finding his way back to the chat is, do you have a favorite Marble League team? A favorite
Good question.
Sand Marble Rally competitor, even.
As a commentator, I must remain indifferent. I must remain unbiased. So when I watch this, it kind of changes who I root for. There's not a single team that I usually stick with. I try to remain neutral with all that, but sometimes if there is a really good underdog story, or if there's a record-breaking performance or something, you got to appreciate that, and you got to kind of hope maybe this is the time, for instance, that the Oceanics are not going to finish last. Maybe this is when they're going to do really well, or you watch something in the Sand Marble Rally and maybe somebody's running away with it, and you hope a little bit maybe this will come back, and then you'll have a multi-marble battle for the championship. So again, that kind of gets back to that whole sports notion, because that's at the heart of it, is you want good stories like that. And as a commentator, I do too. So I love seeing where the lore builds and where it goes, and the rise and fall of the different teams. It's doing it again. Oh, okay. All right, it's back.
Oh, man.
That was weird.
Okay.
I don't know what just happened.
That was only a half a second that time.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey.
Earlier when you were talking, that happened to me too. Like it just happened to me as well.
I know. That's crazy. I don't know. Hopefully we don't have we have a ghost up in here, but I don't know what's going on. Let's just hope it works out, guys. I have no clue why this would be happening. This is the first time. Maybe it's because that the Discord chat, I think the MSWP channel cannot even believe that Greg is talking in the MSWP live, so it's just like it's spazzing out right now. But we'll plow ahead. Obviously, I don't know. I don't even know if what I'm saying right now is going to be in the show. Justin will figure that out. So, anyways, yes, like you were saying, it fits. The lore is created by the comebacks and the competition. Do you have a memorable event, like a favorite event that was most, competitive, most exciting to you, or a memorable event overall that you just like to watch?
I figured that this question would probably be coming at some point, and I really never had a good answer for that, because there's so many that are either kind of special to me, or that were just a lot of fun. Obviously, the first one that I ever commentated, that one's going to hold kind of a special place in my heart, if you want to say it like that.
Right.
But then I think about some of the actual events themselves, especially the clinching rounds of contests. When a champion is going to be decided in that event, whatever you do. And I love those, because that's where the intensity is at the highest. Or I like some of the sprint races, where it kind of gets back to calling rally races, or not rally, relay races almost, where it's just
Right.
going back and forth, and it's, you can see them across from each other, and who's going to get it, and we're talking about tenths of a second. I love those sorts
know.
of things. So is there one that kind of stands out above all of them? Not really. I get that same thrill out of a lot of different events like that.
So would you say you're more excited and you like better the racing events over like more like the curling and the collision, or you just kind of appreciate the uniqueness of each one?
I'd probably go for the latter, because if I were to say that I like one versus the other, the thing is, they're constantly coming up with all these different types of events. Like I have no idea how they come up with some of these, and because they're always different, because they're always changing, there's no way that I could definitively choose one versus the other, because some of them are just fascinating, and you've got to treat them a little bit differently too. Obviously, a rally race is going to be a lot different than an 18-minute set of curling matches. You've got to treat that differently, because
exactly.
it's a lot more strategic. It's not the physical, strength and speed and all of that. It's a lot of strategy, and it's a lot of, figuring out what the next steps are going to be, and why are they doing this, and then what are they going to gain. So they're so different. I love that about them.
Since we're talking about favorite events, do you have a favorite team?
No, I do not.
No?
I think he
Yeah,
I think he had
I
said
mean,
that. I think you would cut out when he had answered that or something.
yeah,
Oh,
that,
really?
that could be the case. I mean, I like a lot of different ones, and I want to see them do well. If we can kind of spread them around a little bit, okay, that's great. But I love to see it when a team has just got it together, when they are just unstoppable. And how can they do this? And another event where they're on top, or they're in the top 3, or whatever it is. I like that about them, and it also helps to build the team's background and the team's legacy that way too. And well, the good thing is that gives me more to talk about later.
Yeah, exactly. And I always find it amazing how the events and the competitions work out, where somehow, even though they're all marbles of the same size and proportion and weight, the Savage Speeders always do a lot better. If you look at the stats, they have not finished a Marble Olympics below top 5. And then you have other teams like the Pinkies, which always seem to be able to qualify for each year's Marble Olympics, but never do better than like bottom half. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what you think on that. If you notice that pattern of like, actually there's like, it seems even more like a sport because teams it doesn't seem random, because teams actually have different skill levels almost.
Yeah.
But it always strikes me as funny how all of them work out like that.
Yeah, you would not expect that, and I think that's what draws people back as well. Because if it was truly random, and if it was no two had won the same thing more than once or twice, then all right, that would be a very different kind of picture. But because for whatever reason, sometimes you get enough of this, and maybe it's, I don't want to call it anthropomorphizing, but it's whatever we would call putting human stuff onto marbles, it really adds to it.
Yeah, I'd say so. Anyways, I really wanted to get into this other topic that we had mentioned in a recent episode, actually like 10 episodes ago, and it was kind of talking about what you were talking about with the whole sports feel that marble sports has now. But we had brought up this crazy idea that we called back in episode 12, 13, we called it Marble Chaos Theory.
Oh, that was episode 10.
And it was episode 10.
Well, I guess
yeah, I think that was the...
we named it in episode 13, but we started talking about it in episode 10.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's about right. Yeah. And what we had said is like, because we were analyzing the Hubelino Maze race versus the dirt race, and talking about why people seem to love the dirt race and collision events, but the Hubelino Maze race kind of was it wasn't the favorite event, definitely. And we were talking about how it seemed that the more chaos, the more unnatural, natural chaos that could be created in a marble sports event, like the vegetation just accidentally being there in the rafting, or the collision where you have no idea how they're going to collide and what formations they're going to take, kind of increase the excitement, and people kind of tend to enjoy those kind of events more. I don't know if you think anything on this.
One thing that I love when it comes to sports is when you get all these extra variables thrown in. I mean, personally, whether it was watching them or playing in them, I love bad weather games. When it's a football game and it's snowing like crazy, or it's raining or something. I enjoy that because it adds another level onto it. It just like in F1's a good example because they race in the rain. That people love that because it's extra uncertainty, and it's something different. And when you get that in marble form, the vegetation was a great example because first couple that went past it, I thought, I didn't even really notice it. But then as it became a bigger thing, all of a sudden that's an obstacle. That's something that you have to get by. That's something that it's a challenge, and it's unexpected because they're rolling down a waterway. You don't expect shrubbery to be sticking out there and that it will actually impact the outcome of the event. So I love random variables like that because in some cases it can be the great equalizer, but also times it can, just like you said, create complete chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. The vegetation. By the way, I love how you handled the vegetation. Goes to how you were talking about your commentary earlier. You seem so surprised by it. And it almost became, I think it did become a meme on the Reddit for a little bit. The vegetation just stops everybody's in the tracks. And then when the green ducks were one of the first ones to not be impacted by it and actually get that world record because they didn't, how you reacted to that was just awesome. Just the unpredictable variables. Where you just don't know, and it didn't even seem like JMR planned that kind of stuff.
Right.
I think that's why.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true.
Yeah. Anyways, do you guys want to do some trivia? Mr. Waff, do you have some trivia?
Yes, I have some questions from the fans and a question of my own that I prepared.
Awesome. Greg Woods, if you're okay with this, we want to hit you with some Marble League trivia as kind of like a break in the middle of the show right here. See what you know about your favorite sport,
Oh my. All right.
All right. So should I start us off?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so
I am ready.
I'll start with the question I prepared. So this one shouldn't be too difficult. So in the San Marble Rally 2019 Race 4, who was the first marble to DNF?
Oh gosh. That's I'm gonna say maybe it was one of oh gosh. See, this is why as I'm running through all of this, I say it so that I don't have to write it down or I don't have to remember it, because then I can just then I don't have to worry about it. I have no idea. Let's say El Capitan.
Capitan? All right. Do you have a guess, Brendan?
This was I'm part of this too.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh man, yeah. You if you hear the other trivia segments, I tell you what, it's not a bastion of knowledge on this side either. Let me think. First DNF in race 4. I know I was paying attention to the DNFs, but I feel like race 4 was like 3 years ago now. Oh,
It does feel that way.
I feel like Black Knight DNF like every time, so we'll go Black Knight.
All right. So all guesses in? All right.
Yep.
All right. The correct answer is Black Knight.
Really?
Nicely
Yep.
done.
Because Black Knight's been doing
Yes.
pretty bad recently.
Yeah, the marble connoisseur in me, you know what I'm saying?
Like, if I'm not mistaken, Black Knight had my previous trivia question actually was about Black Knight having the most DNFs.
Oh.
Yeah, I think 3, one in each of the races,
Except for
2.
Yeah, except for 2. All right.
And by the way, while I'm here on this topic, just want to mention something. I don't know, especially to Greg here, because you would be blown away by how many people and just really dig into the stats here and really overanalyze the thing. I mean, you think we overanalyze because we got the podcast. There's people like he was in the live chat before, but he left. This guy named Falkoff, or I think his real name is Tim, and he's created graphs and charts and long explanations, doing averaging, adding up all the scores, averaging all the scores, averaging the times, and like giving some stats, even stats on the rivalry. It is unbelievable the trivia that people have just accumulated over marble sports. But yeah, I just thought it would be good time to mention that.
I mean, as good a time as any, I suppose. Alright, so I do have 2 questions from S-Man. I'm pretty sure we've already had this first one asked, but I'll ask it just in case. What is the only team to compete in a marble league and never receive a medal?
Team or individual marble?
A team. So, like, what team has competed in the marble league and never received a medal?
Ooh.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. That's why it's so old. That's my bad. It was a month old. I mean, we can still do it.
Oh, there was.
Go ahead and answer it. I don't remember this.
Oh gosh.
Shoot. Okay.
Oh, I think I do.
Oh man, I'm gonna say that I've never medaled.
Oh man, were you asking questions?
Oh gosh, I have no idea on this one. It seems like so many have gotten medals over time, and then you've gotten some teams that only showed up for like a year, and
probably one of those teams. Yeah.
Yeah, I
do
not know.
Shoot.
Well, I think I'm trying to remember back to the last episode. Was it the Quicksilvers?
It's a 1-year team from the first year.
That's the amount of we do during all the trivia segments. It's always
yeah.
funny.
Oh boy.
We gotta keep the air with noise, but we're like, what is the answer? I don't know.
I know. Gosh.
Yeah.
I can.
We are blowing them away right now.
Yeah, doing so great.
The best of Greg Woods. How you
Yeah,
guys doing?
there you go. I'm trying to think what some of the first year teams were that never really came back.
For some reason, I want to guess Rojo Rollers, and I don't know why.
I would guess like Cobalts or Quicksilvers.
But that's what I just said. It's not Quicksilvers.
Yeah, because I don't remember
Quicksilver.
Quicksilvers being in the first one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they weren't.
In 2016, yeah.
Oh. I don't know. I'd go Cobalts then. That would be my best guess.
Okay, I'm gonna go Rojo Rollers.
Okay.
Do you have a guess?
Oh gosh. How about we say snowballs?
Snowballs. All right, so I'll check the answer here. It was Quicksilver. Wait, what? Quicksilvers? Excuse me.
What?
I thought someone just said that they weren't in the first year. Well, you know what?
They lied.
Well, regardless, that was an old question. I wasn't supposed to ask it in the first place, so let's just forget that ever happened and move
that
on.
was another edition of Do You Know Your Marbles?
Do you know your
Yep.
marbles?
And the answer for me is no.
Oh boy. Okay. So,
Hey, but he can comment on them, you know? Oh, what just happened?
all right. So let's ask the actual question that S-Man wanted to ask. What team placed the highest in Marble League 2019 without a gold medal?
Okay.
So basically, yeah, the highest placing team that didn't have a gold medal.
Right.
Oh, I remember this. Someone like killed it with like silvers, but didn't have a gold. I can't remember the name. I feel
Wasn't it the Savage Speeders, or was it the Arrangers?
might it have been the Raspberry Racers?
No, the Raspberry Racers won first in some of them.
I know, but I feel like I was like commenting on the fact they didn't have a gold yet.
Well, yeah, but that was before the event that happened. That when they did get the gold.
So I do remember
do you
that
think, Greg?
Savage Speeders did get the first 2 golds, if I remember
Oh,
right,
you're
because
right.
they were trying to go for the 3rd in a row. Thinking
Good
back,
boost to people's fantasy leagues.
Yeah, yeah. Raspberry Racers, I feel like they were up there a couple of times. I think they might have gotten a gold somewhere. I think they might have. I'm going to say highest placing team. Gosh, so Savage Speeders, they did really well. Who else was up there a lot? Toward the end.
Mellow Yellow?
Yeah, toward the end, Mellow Yellow, I feel like I think they just missed out on the podium a couple of times. So
I would go Mellow Yellow.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good guess.
Yeah, I'll guess Mellow Yellow.
I like Mellow Yellow. We'll go Mellow Yellow.
And our chat, Piney also guessed Mellow Yellow, so I'll take the answer here. It was Galactic. Team Galactic.
Ooh, that did not get a gold.
Huh.
I guess so. And what did they finish? Like 5th or 6th? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
They were kind of middle of the pack, I think.
By the way, for half a second, like a minute ago, I had the same thing, that weird Discord reload thing. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, Greg is contagious. He's getting all of us. Some of our live listeners also got it earlier.
That's crazy.
I don't know what it is.
But yeah, I think that is enough trivia. Do I have anything good here? Probably not. We'll plow ahead with the rest of the podcast here.
All right.
I think it'd be fun to ask, outside of marble sports and commentary, what do you like to do? What are your interests in like, things like that?
So I'm never bored. I'll put it that way. I always try to
That's good.
Plunge into all these different projects. So, growing up, I loved working on old cars. I loved restoring old cars, and still got a couple projects of those going on back home. I have gotten into over the years ham radio, doing a little bit of that. Certainly, Formula One and motorsports in general is something that I've been fortunate enough to be able to do a little bit of for the journalism side of things. Radio stuff in general. I've also been doing a lot recently with watch repair, working on actual mechanical watches, not just like swapping batteries and stuff, but like full teardown, cleaning, servicing, putting those back together and understanding those.
That's so cool. I've never even heard of that.
I really got into it a few years ago. I was actually at the Formula One race in the U.S. when they had the monsoon, and it killed the watch that I was wearing back then. So, so that kind of got me into this world of trying to find out, what's a good replacement watch. And then I learned all this stuff about, automatics and hand winds and about the history of watchmaking and stuff. So, I've gotten into that recently. I'm put on the spot now. I can't even think about some of this stuff.
I can't remember the things I do.
I know what do I do?
Didn't you talk earlier about a podcast about neurology?
Yeah, so it's an actual radio show too, but we do put it out on Facebook. We simulcast it on Facebook
What's the name
Live.
of it, by the way?
So the show is called The Mind Boggles, and it's a neuroscience themed radio show each week. It's on Wednesdays. And each week I talk about the latest in brain research and brain news. Sometimes I talk to the actual researchers as a part of it. I got to go out to the International Research Conference for Alzheimer's a few months back and talk to all kinds of different researchers out there and recorded and used those for some of the interviews. That's been kind of fun. And that goes
so cool.
back.
Yeah.
I've always
definitely
had
check that podcast out. Mind boggles. If I remember and I'm not lazy, I'll throw that into I'll throw that link into the SoundCloud description or whatever it is I put all this stuff. And
you can put it as like a comment. I don't know if there's a description for SoundCloud, but if you can put in a comment if there isn't.
Anyway, what's going on, Greg? For the third time, welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I don't know if this part of you're even hearing it, but it's probably 1 second after the last words you heard when we were talking to Greg, but welcome back. He is back after another Discord kick, a third introduction to the podcast. How you doing today, Greg?
I'm doing okay, server problems notwithstanding.
Man, this really is going to be one heck of a week. So much has been happening.
Yeah, this is. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Discord, but it's crazy.
Well,
Anyway,
I did check, and their server it is saying that it is having problems right now.
Okay.
So,
But of all days and all
Yeah, I know.
times, it had to be now.
I'll have to email Discord, be like, hey, listen, we're talking to a celebrity right now, so let's chill with those server problems there. Anyways. Oh, while I'm here talking to Greg, I want to ask you, Greg, do you have a favorite podcaster? Like someone who, because you said you had done a podcast. Did you grow up listening to some people podcast, or did you get into podcasting? You have like a favorite couple of shows?
Really, it's been more radio when I was growing up. Following that,
Right.
I do have podcasts. I'll say this one, but no, there are some that I followed for a long time. Growing up, I loved listening to all the random topics they would cover on things like This American Life, for instance. That radio show I think was fantastic. We'd always listen on Saturday nights a lot to Prairie Home Companion when that was on. Very good storytelling and the imagery that you got in that one. Currently I try to follow several. I followed along on that first season of Serial when it came out. I thought that was pretty riveting to kind of go through that.
Cool. Yeah.
Recently, I've been listening to occasionally the Infinite Monkey Cage from BBC. That's a very kind of sciencey one. They've got Brian Cox on there, and they cover all kinds of different science topics. So I try to follow that. I love Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. It is another good one. On a lot of these NPR stuff, but there are some other ones out there too.
Nice. That's cool. So you're really into the science and things like that, which is awesome. I love that kind of stuff.
It's something that I've always enjoyed as my background, and that's what I got my degree in, and that's what I've always liked. Yeah.
Oh, and you're really into F1 racing, right? Formula 1?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, big thing over there in Europe. As I know, Melikis is it's like his favorite thing. But big shout out to him, by the way. Great, doing a lot of work for JMR as well. But yeah, like, have you ever commented on an F1 race or dreamed of commenting on Formula 1?
Dream it, absolutely. That would be one of my ideals, is to be able to do something like that. But I've been a fan for many years now. My dad woke me up one Sunday morning and said, "I think you might like this," and it was
cool.
It was the 2004 Monaco Grand Prix, and that just absolutely blew me away. I'd never seen anything like it. These cars that were getting up to 180 plus in a road that is not much wider than the room that I was in. I mean, it's just the technology and the scale of it, and the whole scope of the sport, from the espionage and the arms race to just the physical demands that it puts on human and machine, just completely blew me away. And I poured myself into it, and have been a fan ever since.
That's so cool. Hey, I want to see you comment some F1 someday. Let's all send some emails, guys. Send some emails. Add them on Twitter or something.
If ESPN ever doesn't want to use the Sky Sports feed, I know a guy. He'd love to step into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think you are 100% qualified to comment some F1. You have the style. You have the voice for it. That would be, I think you should take the job now. Like,
it's kind of what it's kind of what I modeled the commentary after. I wanted it to seem like it was this big strategic sort of motor race. So that was my kind of initial try on that. Is could I throw in a little bit of Bob Varsha and David Croft and some of these guys that have been stalwarts calling these races for a long time. And I guess that's another part of this too, is for anybody who wants to get into the commentary realm in general, don't underestimate the value of listening to others and how they do it. Even if it's a sport that you aren't really interested in, hearing the different cadences, hearing the different vocabulary and how they emote and how they talk about different things. I'm always grabbing bits and pieces from different things that I listen to, because I love certain styles and I'm not as big on some others, and it changes all the time.
Yeah, your style. I like your style. It's interesting. It's like it's like you maintain a lot of excitement but still keep it calm. You know how you get commentators who are like screaming the whole time.
Exactly.
Which I think that like I've done a little bit of commentary and I usually go more that way if it gets real exciting because I don't know, I guess it's just a style thing, but yeah, definitely I can see that. That's so cool, dude. And I mean, I tell you what, like I've done a little bit of commentary, and I listened to you do commentary and took from you kind of how you would say some things and applied it to some stuff I've done. So hey, you're becoming a commentary role model, just like you looked up to the big F1 names.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far, but it's neat to hear, and it's certainly something that I am still learning from. I mean, there's no single right way to do it. You know, it's not just F1 either. I mean, you can pull it from all sorts of different sports with the types of things that they do. Whether it's a good example for the vocabulary, for instance, thinking about Doc Emmerich, for instance, in NHL. You know, the way that he's got all these different verbs, and so I mean, sometimes a little bit past that point even, but the fact that he can kind of keep that thread and weave that as the action is going on, I like to try to tell that story a little bit as it goes, because it's not just what you're watching in that exact instant. There are ramifications to it, and there are implications, and you're kind of rising and falling along with it, and trying to guide the viewer through that.
Interesting. Yeah, I think it's just so cool how you came to learn all that, and I don't know, man. Like sometimes I'm just sitting here and I'm like, I can't believe I'm talking to Greg Woods, but but hey, dude, keep doing what you're doing is what I'm saying, because the commentary is amazing. You're definitely pulling from the right people if you're looking up to other people for this. But anyways, Mr. Waff, do you have any other questions for Greg as well?
Can you repeat what you said?
Did I cut out again? Whoa.
No. I was like looking at a clip that the live chat sent.
Oh yeah, they just put that in there.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions for Greg? Because if you don't, I'll open to the live chat, because I know a couple people had questions in there before we wrap up for the day.
You know, I think we should let our live chat ask some questions, because they've been waiting patiently.
All right, Greg, you okay with answering some fan questions?
I will try.
Okay. All right, fans, throw them in there. There's another thing I wanted to get to. How much time? We got some time. Barring the Discord situation, we have like 10 minutes. All right, let's see what they have to say. In the meantime, while we wait for their questions, any predictions for the 2020 Marble League? We always like to try to pull from the knowledge of our guests. Any thoughts on who might win, who might do good, who might do bad?
This one's going to be really interesting because of all the off-season stuff going on. I mean, think about the fact that we're only a few events into the Sand Marble Rally season, and you've got all this hype and all the preparations going on for Marbula 1. So I think it's going to be really interesting how that will test the team's preparation to get ready for this event. Where do they put their energy? Do they put most of their eggs in one basket versus another? And especially when you think about Oceanics, or you think about some of the ones that were down toward the bottom, how much are they going to be motivated and turn that into results? Because that's going to be tough. You know, I mean, you're going to be facing a lot of skepticism and teams probably looking down on you, and I imagine that's going to be a little bit of a motivator.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know what to say about the Oceanics, but I mean, who do you think really was the anti-MVP of the year? The Oceanics or the Limers with their 2-point performance in Marble Showdown?
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
And then you've got all the fan stuff that was going on in the meantime, and not good.
Yeah, just a very tough time. But yeah, definitely to see. I think the Marbula 1 will be a good test, and it will kind of jumble up the teams a little bit, because it will almost be new. The teams aren't used to doing a whole Marbula 1 type competition. Whoa, before the qualifiers and the Marble League. So that extra practice, that extra time out there on the track, I think it may affect them. Do you have a guess for a winner? I'll be the first to say my guess for Marble League 2020's winner is Mellow Yellow. Right now, I don't know if WAF has a guess yet, but we want to know who do you think is going to get the gold?
Oh boy, that's. I mean, Mellow Yellow, they were positioned pretty well, top 5. They got a good points haul, but they just felt like they were never quite up there as consistently as before. Savage Speeders are also going to be another one to watch because they peaked really early. And I think they're going to learn from that because they came out all guns blazing and then couldn't sustain that over the course of the rest of the events. I mean, they medaled just once, I think, after their first opening spurt of golds. So they've got to turn it around. But I think a lot of people are going to be watching the Green Ducks. Can they repeat what they almost did this year?
Yeah.
With coming on the scene fresh, not familiar with this level of marble competition. So, all right, they got a year under their belts. What do they do the next time? They got like 5 medals or something in this year's. What could they do next year? Who knows? Or was it just a single little bubble, and is that bubble going to burst?
That's a good point. I actually haven't been considering the Green Ducks a lot, but yeah, we forget about how, as a rookie team, they came out and almost took the 2019 Marble Olympics. It wasn't for the Raspberry Racers just having that second half burst that they had. I mean, it would have been Green Ducks all the way. And even, are there any Marble Showdown teams that you think we should be watching out for as we go into this Marble League? Because I know a few of them did show actually quite a bit of a good performance, more than even we expected. But any Marble Showdown teams that are, any new teams that are showing some good skill, do you think?
That's a tough one because it was a fairly short stretch. I mean, it was only 4 events.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at the teams how they shook out, obviously, like you said, the Limers, that's pretty bad. That was pretty terrible. Others, I thought maybe this is their chance to kind of get back going again. Maybe we'd see the Cobalts or the Minty Maniacs doing okay. Then you had this interesting thing between the Bumblebees and the Hornets, and how much of that was them kind of getting wrapped up in each other versus finishing well. Certainly the Hornets finished well, and the Snowballs I think had something to prove, but I don't know. I remember thinking in the last couple of events, the relative consistency of the Rojo Rollers. They came out in the first event, and I remember they did not do terribly well. But then I think they were on the podium for the next 3 events. And I thought, all right, maybe they're trending upward, but then you've got the 2 teams in front of them that were even more consistent. So I think any of those are a good option.
Yeah, those are... It's going to be a toss-up. Like you said, it was not a long showdown. I have made a comment on that before as well. I think that the showdown should be at least 6 events. So, hey, I don't know. You're right. It's hard to really tell because, you never know. Maybe if it was 6 events, the Limers would have turned it around in the last 2,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It all depends on the skills that are tested, too. But a couple of fan questions here as we close because we're heading on that hour mark. First off, do you have a favorite ML moment? Do you have a favorite one that sticks out in your mind over all the others?
All right, maybe this will be a little bit of a cop-out, but I don't think so. I think my favorite Marble League moment is seeing it on the Ocho. I think that has to stand above all of them. Now, in terms of actually doing it, the lead-up to that was really exciting time. Like hearing the negotiations and were we actually going to make it, and then what did we have to do to get it on there? So it was a labor of love to put that together, because when it was presented to me, they said, okay, we can do this a couple of different ways, but here's the structure that we want. Here's what we're going to try to fit in. What do you think? And I realized that all right, we were going to be able to use most of the commentary. Hopefully, I was going to have to change when I said the name a couple times, but I didn't want to re-record stuff. But on top of that, then I also had to figure out a way to create this story for people that hadn't watched it before. because this was such a quick lineup of all these events to fit into a half an hour, they basically just turned it over to me with a silent video, and then I had to sync up the audio, and then I had to kind of fill in the gaps sometimes where I would say, so-and-so finished here in this event before we headed into this. And that wasn't there. So there was a lot that went into it, but to see it come out and get on the screen, and also I was following along on Twitter at the time, all the hashtags, and trying to see what some of the reactions were.
Right,
and that was just so unbelievably surreal.
Dude, you're telling me, man. Like, it's, I mean, especially for you, who was like actually involved in it. You part of those negotiations, and actually, your voice was on ESPN. You had a half hour where you were a feature on a TV channel. It's insane. You're a star. That must, I mean, I don't think it's a cop out just because of the place you had in that whole production.
It felt momentous.
It was momentous. I couldn't even believe it when I clicked record on my TV for Marble Olympics. By the way, we all noticed the hesitancy in the way you said Marble Games when you couldn't say Olympics.
Well,
that was funny. That was the funniest part for me, because I know you wanted to say Marble Olympics, but they had the whole copyright.
Had to edit it. Yep.
Yeah, but still good. It was still very, very unbelievable. Another question the fan team had. This is a fan team. I get fan team and fan and everything all confused. Is there any team that you really want to see in Marbula 1 that hasn't been revealed yet?
Ooh. Some of the obvious ones have already been checked off, thankfully. But I'm not sure. I think based on some of the speed performances that we've seen, that may be a little clue if you look back through some of the events to see who are some of the quicker teams. But I don't really know what's coming up the pipeline for that. That's not something I've been involved in a lot. So when it's revealed to you, that's often when it's revealed to me. So I've seen the 7. I saw that we just got the Hornets, pretty recently. Whenever this will air, very recently, I will say. Where from here? I don't know. I'm intrigued. I like to think that we'll maybe get a couple of surprise teams, ones that people will say, whoa, I was not expecting them in there. Because again, then you may have, because then you may have this fantastic performance and you go, I didn't even expect them to be in this. How are they doing this well? So, I don't know.
Yeah. I would definitely like to see the Oceanics and the Lammers in there. Give them a chance to redeem themselves.
They need it.
To try to undo the Oceanics. That is their hashtag right now. But that is
maybe Glen Glaciers would be fun, just because they haven't done a whole lot in the series.
That's true. Yeah.
I haven't seen them in a while. There are a lot of teams that are just kind of disappeared into the woodwork of Marvel Sports right now. But they're actually still cool teams. I think Team Plasma, still a cojust team. Just the luck would have it. They just kind of fell off. They didn't qualify back in 2017. Who knows where they are? Who knows what planet they're on? Gliding Glaciers as well. But guys.
I guess another question that we had. So are you aware of the third place curse?
I have heard of the third place curse. I imagine the Hazers, I believe, are a little bit worried after that. I'm pretty sure it was the Hazers that got third in the last one.
Did.
So okay, all right. So I imagine they are a little bit worried. But curses are at the same time made to be broken. It may take you 100 and some years.
Write that down, Mr. Love.
All right.
No, I'm serious. I'll explain this. I'll explain this to you, Greg. Write this down. Write that down.
All right. Curses are made to be broken.
Just to cut in, I hate to cut into your response, but something that we've been doing on the podcast since episode 1 is that every once in a while, something will be said. Either I'll say it, Waff will say it, someone guest will say it, and I'll like the way it sounded, or I want it. So I'll just be like, write that down, Mr. Waff. And we have about 20 of those right now, all written down. And they're gonna be revealed at some point. But yeah, so you have officially caused to write that down, which I don't do just because I like the guest. I do it because I like the words. So
Awesome.
there you go.
Your words will forever be immortalized on this server.
Yes. Well,
Yep.
I'll finish that up by just saying I think they've got to be feeling pretty good overall. I mean, they placed, they set a record in the last one, in a speed event no less. So I think they've got to be feeling decent. I mean, they did okay in the qualifiers. I think if there's a team that could break it, they've got a good chance. Curses are strong sometimes too, but like I said, I think they're made to be broken.
Isn't it crazy that we have marble sports curses? Isn't it crazy that we just said that? I just think that I just think it's crazy how much that's developed. The fact that there are how are there marble sports curses? But yeah, if there's anyone's gonna break it, they're the Hazers. So they've been very consistent the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
A newer team who definitely showed some impressive skill. Third place this year and like somewhere in the top half last year. They're kind of just they keep it up. They keep it up definitely. But yeah, I just can't believe that they're marble sports curses. What? That's crazy.
We've come so far.
We have. But anyway, guys, we have reached almost an hour here. I think we might be over, but that's okay. We got Greg on, and we're gonna wrap it up. Greg, is there anything else you want to say to the fans out there who may be listening to this episode?
I gotta say that it is so neat to see every week and every video the response to this and how much it keeps growing and how enthusiastic people are about it. You know, we're always trying to change things and you know, to build on success and to clean up things that needed it. You know, we're probably not going to get it right every single time, but we're trying, and it's neat to see that people have enjoyed it so far. I personally enjoy it, and along with you guys watching it and reacting to it, it's a blast, and I hope that is conveyed to you also. We'll see where it goes. I'm hoping that the Marble Rally finishes really strong. We've had really interesting events already, but we need the weather to cooperate a little bit more first, and then we'll kind of continue with those. And obviously building up every single year to the Marble League. That is the pinnacle, and I cannot wait for that one.
Absolutely. Couldn't have
Same.
said it better myself. But I think that about wraps it up, guys. So yeah, definitely. We hope to have you back on, Greg. It's been unbelievable experience for me, like surreal experience for me, to be talking to the guy that 4 years ago now I heard do commentary for Marble Sports, and I then decided that I wanted to get into this. 4 years, and it's just crazy. So big thank you, like huge thank you. Are there other synonyms I can use for that? For coming on and talking to us? I just it's been absolutely amazing.
I love
I don't even have
how
words.
close knit this community is for a lot of things, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, and we'll try and improve as much, and maybe be one day be as good as you are at. Yes,
Man, I don't know if that's achievable, but we'll certainly try.
You.
But anyway, guys,
Anyway.
That about wrapped it up. That does about wrap it up for today's episode. Definitely check out the YouTube. As in 2020 January, we will be releasing an MSW Algodoo League Event 1 of Season 1 and so on. And the episode 25 special is coming out in a couple of weeks, so hang tight for that. I'm super excited for that. There'll be a couple clips with Greg in there too. And that's about it. So we go to the outro here, and see you guys later.
It's the waiting for Greg song, the waiting for Greg song, the waiting for Greg song. Where is Greg? Discord is a butt.